It's another podcast. I have moved from Ontario to Quebec. At like a little cabin in the Laurentians for the next couple weeks. Before me and my partner move to Montreal for a more extended period of time. And the weather's still nice, and I've got this cute like forest vibe, so we're filming outside. Yes, so thanks for joining another Skeiny Legend podcast. Okay, starting with what I'm wearing. This is my Ranunculus by Midori Hirose. I talked about it in a previous video, but I've been really enjoying wearing my more like summery and short sleeve knits with like just a long sleeve under to transition them into kind of fall winter. This guy I knit using 2 strands of an unraveled cashmere sweater. I didn't like straighten out the yarn before knitting with it, and since it's knit at such a loose gauge, it doesn't have quite the tension on it to keep it straight. So blocking made a huge difference, but I think I need to reblock it because it's starting to like shrink up again, and I want it to be a bit longer and to open up. See, like open up the lace work a little bit more. But yeah, wearing that, and then I'm also wearing on my feet some socks. These are actually the first pair of socks that I ever knit. And I'm looking at them at my feet, and they are knit. Actually, I have no idea what it is. It's from some like bargain basement superwash of some sort that I don't like that much because it pills like a motherfucker, but that's fine. They're still warm and cozy. I think they're like, I'll do it again, like a broken rib pattern. Is it broken rib? I think it's broken rib. It's hard to tell because it's so pilly that the pattern's kind of hard to see, but whatever. But yeah, different vibe from the last podcast because I actually was decently successful recently in the past couple weeks, so I am excited to show you what we've got. So, finished objects. The first one is my snowy forest sweater. I did it. I re-knit the whole goddamn thing, and now it fits and I love it. Yeah, I have a good amount to say. So basically, like I said last time, I knit this whole entire thing, and then I blocked it and it turned into like a saggy, disgusting mess. I don't really want to rehash it, but so I frogged the whole goddamn thing and re-knit it on way smaller needles. And because I was knitting it for a second time, I made like a whole bunch of changes to the pattern, which was kind of fun. Because it's kind of scary making changes the first time you're doing a pattern, but since I'd already knit the whole thing once, I felt pretty confident changing things. So I have a whole list of things I changed. So first off is, yeah, I went down 2 needle sizes. So now the fabric's like quite plush. And it actually, when I was like kind of anticipating that it was going to grow huge again when I blocked it this time, but it actually more or less stayed the same size, which is fine. It's a bit snugger, I think, than I had originally wanted, but I quite like how it fits now, so I don't have an issue with that. But the main thing I did that you can't really tell, which is good, is on the back I actually included probably 5 or 6 short rows under the yoke. Since this is like a circular cabled yoke, it would have been symmetrical front back, and I hate that feeling when you have a sweater like that with no short rows and it like constantly like feels like it's either choking you or you're pulling it down and then your back's getting exposed. So yeah, I put in a couple rows of short rows on the back, and then this is more obvious, but I put some, here's the front of the collar, so I put some in the back of the collar as well too that you can see there, and that's just really helping it lay more forward and down on the body, which I think makes a huge difference, and I'm like very happy that I did that. It's my first time doing it on my own, not like in the pattern, and it was super easy, and I imagine that I will do this to all sweaters. Basically, they don't have any of that shaping, because to me it makes a huge difference. So that was like the main like thing that I was really excited that I did. But what else did I write down that I changed? Oh, yeah, okay, nothing too crazy. So all the ribbing I decided to do twisted. Honestly, I think my twisted ribbing actually looks kind of trash when you look at it up close, but on the body I think it's fine. I also started doing this thing where when you transition from knitting the stockinette to the ribbing, normally that line sometimes looks really ugly. So I've started doing this row where you basically knit one, slip one, and then the slip stitches on the next row are the ones that you end up purling, and it kind of pushes them even farther back, pushes those stitches farther back into the fabric, which makes, I find, a bit of a smoother transition from the stockinette into the ribbing. And then I did half stretchy bind off everywhere because, I don't know, I wasn't feeling like doing tubular for some reason this time. So I did a half stretchy bind off, and I quite like how it looks. I stole that idea from Heather and Hops, who obviously has a podcast that I'm sure everybody knows, and it's basically I knit two together for all the knit stitches and then just regularly slipped one over the top for the purl stitches, and it makes a nice like decently stretchy bind off, but it's not, doesn't like flare too bad. I just stretched it, so obviously it looks worse, but especially on the bottom of the body I find it's like doesn't flare, it's like pretty flat, which I'm pretty happy with. And then the last thing really that I did differently is instead of knitting, starting with the collar and then knitting the whole sweater, I actually started here and then picked up the stitches for the collar. Mostly because when I was redoing it, I did not feel like doing a bunch of ribbing right away, and it was kind of preventing me from taking the plunge and pulling the whole thing apart. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do the collar later. And I think it turned out fine. So yes, I'm very happy. I wear this all the time. It's super warm. It's like really, it's got really good squish to it, and very happy to report that we made it through and I was able to do this, and now I have a lovely garment and I can wear it. Oh, last thing is, yes, so where can I find it? So yeah, I don't know, my twisted ribbing has been kind of crap recently, and so I had a couple that were like weirdly loose, and so instead of doing anything about it, I just like tightened all the stitches, and then on the inside there's a couple like little knots where I've just tied the loose, like I went through and I like teased all of the loose ones tight, and then I just brought that extra yarn to the back of the fabric and then just tied it in a little knot. And to me that's fine. Like, I don't know, my tension was off for some reason. I probably was getting like too into whatever I was watching and not paying attention to the tension, and I was like, screw it, and I just did this, and it happened to me on both sleeves, I think. Yeah, I did it here too. I don't know why, but whatever, I don't really care. You can barely tell. And I'll even still flip the cuffs up when they're a bit long, and I don't really care that you can see those. I don't know. But yeah, Snowy Forest. Done and dusted. I did it. Thank God. Because that was very upsetting last time. There's someone going off in their ATV. It's fun. Okay. Yay. First finished object. So I finished that, and then obviously because I sized down to different needles, I had some leftover yarn, and I discussed this in my winter plans video that I wanted to knit this cowl, and I did. So this is the Kodiak Cowl. Oh wait, Snowy Forest is by Midori Hirose. I don't know if I said that. Anyway, whatever. This is called the Kodiak Cowl by the Blue Mouse. It's a free tutorial on YouTube and it's knit in brioche. So this is my first time knitting brioche and I really loved it. It's like super easy to do. It's so squishy and I did 2 colors. So the gray is obviously the same gray merino unraveled blah 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 from my Snowy Forest, and then this, oh my god, I'm gonna butcher it, is like a Shopple Yarns edition 3 in some colorway that I had gotten on like crazy sale from a local yarn store in like Prince Edward County in Ontario. No, I got it in Belleville, Ontario, I think. It doesn't really matter where I got it. But I just got the one skein thinking I'd get a pair of socks out of it, but I couldn't. It was like a little bit heavier than a regular sock yarn, so I just knit. This is the entire ball. I held it double. So ideally I probably would have done this cowl a bit longer, but I like ran out of this contrast color, so I was like, screw it, that's fine. It's good like this. I'm planning, I haven't blocked it yet. So I'm thinking I'll try and stretch it a bit when I block it to be longer. But normally I actually fold it in half anyway when I wear it as like a little neck warmer like this. And so to me it's just long enough and it kind of provides just that little bit of warmth on this part of my body when I'm not wearing like a turtleneck or something. But great. I highly recommend this tutorial on YouTube. It was very clear. I'd never knit brioche before and it was super easy. Brioche is kind of a bitch to like tink or like re-knit. Like if you drop a stitch or you do the wrong thing, trying to figure out how to pick it back up was kind of difficult, so I had to watch a couple tutorials on that. But I was able to do it. When I look at it now, I don't see any glaring errors, I don't think. And yeah, I'm just happy with that. I've been wearing it a bunch. I should block it, but I can't really be bothered. And yeah, super quick. This would make, I think, a good gift knit. Like I knit this whole thing in like a day, for being honest. I didn't even knit all day either, like I have been recently. So like I feel like in like 4 hours maybe you could probably whip one of these bad boys out. Cars going by. Anyway, Kodiak Cowl, the Blue Mouse, who I don't think has an Instagram. Doesn't matter. Highly recommend. Good gift knit. Loving 2-color brioche. I like how it shows us off the variegation of this yarn, and just overall happy with how that turned out. Quick and easy. Quick and easy. I actually have so many finished objects this time. I'm so proud of myself. Oh, I didn't bring out my stupid cardboard sock blocks. Whatever. I don't care. Next is this mushroom sock. I knit it to match, not match, but go with. I have another mushroom sock, and so there's been a bunch of like knit alongs for Socktober on Instagram. One of them was like falling leaves, so you're supposed to knit something that's autumnal, and then there's like a socky seconds where you're supposed to knit a second sock for, you know, to try and get past second sock syndrome. And normally for Canadian Thanksgiving, go to my boyfriend's parents' house in Belleville, and his dad's like into grouse hunting, and so on the holiday we'll go grouse hunting. Like I don't hunt, I go and look for mushrooms while Eric and his dad go and hunt. So I was like, how cute would it be if I actually had 2 mushroom socks to wear while mushroom hunting? So I like busted my ass and knit this guy. Now originally I had a mini skein of this maroon color that I could not tell you where it was from. And I was like, ooh, how cute would it be if I had done an all maroon sock with just like a cute little yellow heel, and that was the plan. But I got to here and realized that I was like basically I had like this much yarn left, so I was like, ugh, okay, I guess I'll stripe the foot and then obviously the toe. I ran out of striping here, and then the rest is just yellow. And like, it's a little Gryffindor vibes for my personal taste, but nothing to be done about that. This is just what happens when you use scraps and whatever's in stash, and you have to improvise, adapt, overcome. So, this is a mushroom sock. Now, the one thing I did want to talk about here is, if I zoom in here, can you see? Yes. So I like screwed up the color dominance. What am I trying to say? Color dominance is like a thing, obviously with color work, and it depends which strand you cross over which, and depending on if it's going under or over, like one color stitches are bigger than the other color stitches, and then the bigger stitches pop more because they're bigger. And so normally you want your design to be the bigger ones. So you can kind of see with this little motif here that the top one I crossed the wrong way and the bottom one I crossed the correct way. So the top ones look kind of shitty and you can't really see them, whereas the bottom ones pop more. And normally I do it correctly, but I got the Charming Colorworks sock book by Charlotte Stone, who did this pattern. This is a Magic Toadstool pattern by Stone Knits. Charlotte Stone, her name's Charlotte. I didn't say that. Anyways, I got her book, and in the beginning she has a little blurb about color dominance, and I was like, okay, perfect. I'm pretty sure I've been doing it right, but let me just read this. And then I read her thing, and she said, what'd she say? Anyway, she said to do it one particular way, but the way I do color work is I knit both English and continental, so I'll have one color in one hand and one color in the other hand. And if you do it that way, the color dominance, which color you put in which hand, is like opposite to the way that she said to in her book. When you have them both, I think it's continental when you knit with the string on your left side. So when you have them both on the same side, you put the colors in a different order than if you hold one in one hand and one in the other hand. I don't know if this makes any sense. I want to talk about this thinking that I would like solve problems and like alleviate confusion, and I'm just making it worse. But basically I followed her thing and it didn't translate to what I did, so the top bit was wrong. And I didn't want to rip it out, so I was just like, screw it, and I left it looking kind of crap at the top and it looks better on the bottom. But that's fine. I also did 3 color. Instead of on my last pair of socks, I went back for the spots and did them with just like duplicate stitch, but this time I did the proper like 3 color stranded knitting. And I feel like it looks kind of shit, honestly. It made my tension for all of it just worse in general. And now this part is like noticeably very thick where the color work is versus the rest of the thing. So I would say in the future, and I'll probably do more of these socks because I love the mushroom pattern, I would stick with just doing duplicate stitch for the spots on the mushrooms because it's easier and I think it looks better. And I have an easier time keeping nice and even tension with just 2 colors versus trying to do 3. So yeah, these are these socks. I guess it's just the one sock. I could have brought the matching sock out, but maybe I'll just insert a video clip of it. But Magic Toadstool sock, cute. Okay, my last finished object is more socks. And so these are the stone socks from 52 Weeks of Socks by Tatiana Kulikova. Did I pronounce that right? Probably not. These were for my boyfriend. He's been wearing them, so like they look a bit worn. But these were knit in Drops Nord and Plum. I don't like have that much to say because I think I talked about the first sock already in a past podcast, but I actually knit the matching one. And I'm like happy with how they turned out. I'll put a photo in of how one looked blocked versus the other one being unblocked, and it was actually a crazy difference. You can still kind of tell this one's not been blocked and this one has been, and it's just the fabric really smooths out. Like while I was knitting it, I was like, good God, these look like a crinkly mess. You can kind of see this one is all like wobbly still from being unblocked, and it really does smooth out like a lot once you start blocking it, which is good because I was worried for a while, but I'm happy. My boyfriend lovingly agreed to once again pose to recreate the photo. I'll post them both here. From the pattern book. So that was fun. I like doing that. I might keep doing that with all the socks from that book because it's kind of fun to do a side-by-side comparison of the photo from the book and then my photo of my socks. But yeah, so that was my last finished object. So that's pretty good. A sweater, a cowl, and 3 socks. I don't remember when I filmed my last one, but it was a couple weeks ago. So that's good. Now we will move on to whips. Whips. Did I talk about everything I want to talk about? Oh, wait. And then I forgot to mention this guy. Let's see if I can find it. You can kind of see it along here, but I did the jogless stripes method from Charlotte Stone's book, and I think it worked pretty well. You can kind of see the diagonal along here, but that's when you're like really looking for it. But otherwise, I'd say they look pretty smooth, you know? Like there's not that awkward jog, and so I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Yeah. Sorry, I have some notes. I'm making sure that I'm actually like saying everything I wanted to say. But yeah, I think I am. Anyway, whips. So, sock whip. I like just barely started doing the toe of my second intersection sock, which I talked about last time. So I've kind of just barely started. Nothing really. Oh, actually, do I have a color type? Maybe. These are the exact same color. Nothing to share, just posting this for my accountability that by next time I will have hopefully finished this second sock for my dad for Christmas. Love you, Dad. I hope you like these socks when I give them to you. And then my more interesting whip that's been taking up more of my time is this guy. This is the Terazzo Slipover by PetiteKnit. I'm knitting it in drops brushed alpaca in curry, and then in curry that's the fluffy, because I don't really like mohair, or maybe I do and I just haven't tried a soft one, and then 2 strands of an unraveled 100% lamb's wool sweater that I actually did a whole unraveling video on my last video. It's long and kind of boring, to be honest, but whatever. This is my Terazzo sweater, so I finished the whole slipover, and I just now need to pick up and do the armholes and the collar. I've really been enjoying doing this. There's like just a little bit of shoulder shaping, so they're nice and slanted to fit. And I like this twisted rib section, and it has a cute little split hem here. And it has this fun twisted rib like border around the split, which I like. To be honest, I don't actually have the Terazzo pattern. I'm following a different slipover pattern, and then I have just added in this twisted rib detail that I think looks pretty dang close to hers. And then I would add the like cute turtleneck, but this is all I have left of the alpaca silk, and if you can see in the light, like there's not a lot left here. So I'm going to do the armholes, and then I'm gonna do the collar. Basically, hopefully I can do both the armholes and some of the collar. Oh my god, I am not really confident about that, to be honest, now that I'm looking at how much I have left. Anyway, I'm gonna just do as much as I can do. Like, I don't want to make another Wool Warehouse order. I've already made 2. So, these will just get put on hold, basically, until it's done. I don't know. I have, like, tons of the unraveled stuff left, so I could just do it without the, alpaca, and then, so I can at least wear it, and then undo it later and do it with brush alpaca if I ever buy more. But, like, I don't know, it's so irritating, especially with drops. Like, I'm trying to find it in Canada, and it's like twice the price for me to buy it in Canada and get it shipped to me within Canada than it is for me to buy it from Wool Warehouse and get it shipped to me from the UK. Which is just annoying, and I kind of feel bad about it. I'm like, I should just buy it locally, but I can't justify the shipping. Shipping is gonna be like $25 from any place that I've looked, versus shipping from the UK to here from Wool Warehouse is like $8. So, I don't know. I will report back, but it's super warm and dense, and I really love it. I did a terrible job of picking up stitches though along here. If you can kind of see, like, I think I just didn't do it right, and so I did it the same way on both sides so they look the same, but I'll pretend it's like a design detail with these weird twisted stitches, but it's just me doing a bad job of picking up stitches. So hopefully for the neckline and the armholes, I can do a better job, because I just think that looks terrible. So I'll report back next time to see how it looks. And then, I don't know, the edges of the twisted rib also look kind of trash, but I'm hoping that that can block out when I block this. But yeah, so unpopular opinion, like 95% of petite knit patterns are just kind of variations on the same thing, and so if you have one of her patterns, you could pretty easily modify them yourself to just be like her other patterns. Like, I just looked at photos, to be honest, and I'm like, I can figure out, I can add a twisted rib border to a split hem. Like, I know how to do a split hem, I know how to do twisted rib, so I don't know. Is that immoral? Tell me if it is, I guess. We can discuss, but like, I'm not saying I invented this design. This is obviously PetiteKnit's design, but I didn't buy the pattern because I can look at it and do the pattern. I don't know. Discuss. That, like, I actually find it very satisfying to, like, hack patterns from online from photos. Like, I feel like a hacker. I don't know if these were just in Canada, but also in the States. Maybe I can find it, but you know, I feel like those, like, anti-piracy commercials that used to play on, like, VHS tapes before you'd watch a movie, where they're like, you wouldn't download a car, like, what, like, blah blah blah, you wouldn't steal a car, you wouldn't download a car, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I feel like that when I can figure out patterns from photos. I'm like, I would absolutely just look at a photo and recreate it on my own. But yeah, those are my only 2 whips. I've been kind of exclusively working on this. Okay, I still have that stupid dish towel, but, like, we're not talking about the dish towel, okay? I'll bring up the dish towel when there's something to be brought up about that goddamn dish towel. But I've been pretty much tunnel vision, eagle-eyed focused on this guy because I really want to wear it. You know, I've been enjoying this, like, layering vibe with my knits, so I've thought it'd be nice to, like, layer this. But yeah, those are my whips. And then lastly, we have acquisitions. I only have one, which is pretty good, and it's this guy I found at the thrift store for me to unravel later. I just really love the color. It's this kind of heathered olive green with these lighter sage green stripes, and I'll separate them probably. And I don't know, so I was a bit, like, on the fence about getting this because of the stripes, because realistically I wouldn't want to actually knit anything striped. I just want this darker color. I don't know if you can hear the cars, so I'll cut them out. Anyway, I only want this, like, darker color. So this is like a cotton blend of some sort. So I figured I'd probably end up knitting a summer top out of it, or at least a short sleeve top, and then I'd probably have enough out of the whole sweater. And then maybe I could do like contrast, like a neckline, blah blah blah, in the lighter color, or maybe I can knit an entire like my secret summer crop or something out of this lighter color. That's a bit ambitious. Maybe not. Kind of ambitious. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, so this is my only acquisition, which is very reasonable. Although I did make another wool warehouse order to buy more of the yarn for the sweater number 15 that I'm knitting, so that's due to come this week, any day now. So that would be an acquisition, but we have to talk about it. It's not here yet. But yeah, so that's kind of the plan now, is I'm gonna finish this Terazzo sweater. When that wool warehouse yarn comes, I'll finish the sweater number 15. And then, okay, like, I know I did a pretty rude rant about the naked knit patterns last time, but I've been thinking that if I modify the shell bra pattern, I'd be kind of down to make it into a top for like layering. So I still have leftover this cashmere, and I think it would do well as a shell bra. And I'm thinking if I knit the bra part, and then pick up along the, can you see, I don't know, knit the bra part and then pick up along the bottom in the round and then knit it down, I could make it into like a full tank top. I'd like that. I think it'd be nice to wear under things, or just as its own thing, or on top of things like this, and I think it'd look good. So let me know if you also think that would look good. Maybe I'll do that. And then otherwise, I actually don't have anything else planned to knit yet, so we'll see what I do next. I'm sure there'll be more socks. I'm sure there'll be more sweaters. Who knows? And then, as a classic end ramble, books. I recently read The X Hex and The Kiss Curse. It's like a duology about witches. It's like a witch rom-com duology. Lovely for this pre-Halloween season. They're like trashy books, but like a fun, cozy read that I've been loving. And then I've been rewatching Gilmore Girls. And who doesn't love Gilmore Girls? I want to do some videos on knitting things from like mostly TV shows, but maybe movies too, but mostly TV shows. And the ones I really want to do are Selena Gomez from Only Murders in the Building has the most amazing sweaters, and I think that would make a good video. Gilmore Girls, there's like tons of knitwear on that, and especially now that like 2000s are coming back, they're very in and trendy. And then this is the one I actually really want to do is Noel Fielding from Great British Bake Off has the most amazing sweaters. I have no idea where he gets these sweaters, but I'm gonna look them up. And there's like gorgeous knitwear that I think would be really fun. And then obviously like the BoJack Horseman, I really want to knit the BoJack Horseman sweater. But yeah, I don't know. I just make these videos. I guess and whatever, I want to make the videos, so I'll make the videos, and that's that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Find me here again sometime with updates on what I've been talking about, and happy knitting. And I'll talk at you later.